If you've ever felt like traditional sports betting is a bit one-sided, where you're always betting against the bookmaker and they seem to have the edge, then you're about to discover something completely different. The Betfair Exchange flips that entire system on its head and puts you in control, allowing you to bet not just on outcomes, but also against them, just like a bookmaker would. And once you understand how it works, it can completely change how you approach betting. Let's start from the very beginning, because if you're new, the interface might look confusing at first. When you log into Betfair and switch to the exchange, what you're seeing is not odds set by a company. These odds are created by other users, people just like you. That's why it's called an exchange. It's essentially a marketplace where bettors trade positions with each other. The two most important concepts you need to understand right away are backing and laying. Backing is simple because it's what you already know. When you back a team or player, you're betting that they will win. So if you back Manchester United, you're saying they will win the match. But laying is where things get interesting. When you lay a team, you're betting that they will not win. That means you're acting like the bookmaker, offering odds to someone else who thinks that team will win. Let's break that down with a simple example so it really sticks. Imagine there's a football match and Team A has odds of 2.0. If you back them with $10, you stand to win $10 profit if they win. But if you lay them at the same odds with $10, you're risking $10 to win someone else's $10 if they lose or draw. So in this case, your liability is what you could lose if your lay bet is wrong. Understanding liability is key because unlike normal betting where you only stake what you're willing to lose, here your potential loss can be higher depending on the odds. Now, when you look at the Betfair Exchange screen, you'll see blue and pink boxes. The blue side represents the back odds and the pink side represents the lay odds. Next to each price, you'll also see amounts of money. This shows how much liquidity is available, meaning how much money other users are willing to bet at those odds. The more liquidity, the easier it is to get your bet matched instantly. Matching is another concept you need to understand. On the exchange, your bet isn't accepted automatically like with a sportsbook. It has to be matched with another user who is taking the opposite side of your bet. So if you back a team, someone has to lay that same team at those odds for your bet to go through. If there's no match, your bet will just sit there until someone takes it or you cancel it. Now let's talk about one of the biggest advantages of using Betfair Exchange, which is better odds. Because you're betting against other users instead of a bookmaker, the odds are usually more competitive. Bookmakers build in profit margins, but on the exchange, the market decides the price. That's why experienced bettors prefer exchanges, especially for high volume or long-term strategies. Another powerful feature is trading, and this is where things get really interesting. You're not limited to just placing a bet and waiting for the outcome. You can actually open and close positions during the event to lock in profit or reduce risk. For example, let's say you back a team at odds of 3.0 before the match starts. During the game, they score early, and their odds drop to 1.8. At that point, you can lay the same team at 1.8 and secure a profit regardless of the final result. This is known as greening up, and it's one of the most popular strategies on the exchange. To make this easier, Betfair even provides a cash out feature, which automatically calculates and closes your position for you. But many experienced users prefer to do it manually because it often gives better value. Now, before you jump in, it's important to understand commission. Betfair doesn't make money from setting odds, so instead they charge a small commission on your net winnings in a market. This usually ranges around 2% to 5%, depending on your account and region. The key thing to remember is that you only pay commission when you win, not when you lose. Let's talk about how to actually place your first bet step by step in a practical way. First, go to the sport you're interested in, like football, tennis, or horse racing. Then choose a market, for example, match odds. You'll see the list of teams or players along with the back and lay prices. If you want to bet on a team to win, click on the blue box next to their name. This will open a bet slip where you can enter your stake. If you want to bet against them, click on the pink box instead and enter your lay stake. The system will automatically show your potential profit and liability before you confirm the bet. Once you place the bet, keep an eye on whether it gets matched. If it's not matched immediately, you can either wait, adjust your odds, or cancel it. This flexibility is one of the biggest differences compared to traditional betting. Now let's go over some beginner mistakes so you can avoid losing money early on. The first mistake is ignoring liability when laying bets. It's easy to see a small potential profit and forget that your potential loss could be much bigger. Always check the liability before confirming a lay bet. The second mistake is chasing unmatched bets by constantly changing odds without understanding the market. Sometimes it's better to wait for the market to come to you instead of forcing a bet. The third mistake is overtrading. Just because you can trade doesn't mean you should do it constantly. Every trade carries risk, and beginners often make emotional decisions during live events. The smartest way to start is to go slow. Begin with small stakes and focus on understanding how the market moves. Watch how odds change before and during events. You'll start to notice patterns like how favorites shorten in price when they perform well, or how underdogs drift when they struggle. Another tip that can give you an edge is specializing in a specific sport or market. Instead of trying to bet on everything, focus on one area, like football match odds or tennis sets. The more familiar you are with a market, the better your decisions will be. It's also worth mentioning that Betfair Exchange isn't just for sports. You can also find markets for politics, entertainment, and other events depending on availability in your region. The same principles of backing, laying, and trading apply across all of them. Now, imagine this scenario to tie everything together. You see a football match where the favourite team has odds of 1.5 before kickoff. You think they're overrated and might struggle. Instead of backing the underdog, you decide to lay the favourite. If the match starts and they don't score early, their odds might drift to 1.8 or 2.0. At that point, you can back them at the higher odds and lock in a profit regardless of the outcome. That's the power of thinking like a trader instead of just a bettor. By now, you should have a clear understanding of how the Betfair Exchange works, from backing and laying to matching bets and trading positions. It might feel a bit overwhelming at first, but once you get used to it, it becomes second nature. And the flexibility it offers is something traditional sportsbooks simply can't match. The key is to treat this like a skill you're developing, not just a quick way to make money. Take your time, learn how the markets behave, manage your risk carefully, and most importantly, stay disciplined. Because on the exchange, you're not just betting against a house, you're competing with other bettors. And the smarter you play, the better your chances of coming out ahead.